Hi, welcome to Nicci's vlog, and today I'd like to talk about post-COVID-19. Maybe not from a cultural or a community point of view, but from my own personal point of view. I have just recovered from the virus. I'm back at work and feeling okay, and I had some observations that I thought I would share. And so here's what happened to me. Today is the 23rd of April, and I contracted the virus, or started showing symptoms of the virus on the 22nd. Had a persistent cough and started to get temperature and stuff. I hit 14 days, which is when I thought it was going to be over, on April 5th, but actually the worst 3 days of my life turned out to be the 7th, 8th and 9th, where my temperature was at 40.2, and I was violently throwing up, and I had D&V, diarrhea as well, and definitely wanted to die. As those of you who know me know that my partner is a GP, and at one point they were close to calling the ambulance and having me sent to hospital. Weren't sure whether or not that might make things worse with kind of MRSA and all the other stuff going on, and so didn't. And fortunately, I recovered. And within a couple of days, I was back at work on the 14th. But on the 14th, when I got back to work, I could only really do 3 days. One of the things I found is that because I'd been lying in bed for 2.5 weeks, staring at the ceiling, I had lost 5 kilos, most of it muscle mass. My stamina levels had dropped considerably. I'd lost a lot of muscle off my legs, so just walking about was exhausting and tiring. And so so the first day back, and when I kind of did 4 hours, had to have an hour's sleep in the office and then get another 3 or 4 hours. Only person in the office, we are social distancing. And it has taken almost a week and a bit to get to. Yesterday, I actually did a 14-hour day without needing a sleep. I kind of got into the office at 6:30 in the morning, and I left the office at 8:30. And I'm a little bit exhausted today because it was a long day, but I would have been anyway. And so I think my fitness levels have got back up, and I'm recovering. And so on the basis of that, I have kind of 4 things that I think I would like to share. The first thing is, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me, and so please don't get it. Do whatever you can. Keep away from people who might be infected, socially distance, follow the rules. Just don't get it. And don't be fooled by those people who say, oh, I've had it. It was just like a bad case of flu. They didn't have it. It's not like a bad case of flu. It is absolutely awful. I have lots of risk factors as well. I'm diabetic. I'm technically obese. I'm kind of, hypertension, all the rest of it. And so I recognize that my experience of this might not be the same as everybody's, but I promise you, don't risk it. Don't get it. Do whatever you can to avoid getting this. It's horrible. Number 1. Number 2, plan for it. So if you do get it, you're going to have to lock yourself in a room somewhere, and you will not get through that unless you've got a thermometer and a huge amount of paracetamol to control your temperature. So plan for that. Have a thermometer, go buy some paracetamol, just in case somebody in their household starts to show symptoms, then isolate them and keep an eye on them. And then if you do get it, my advice is to make sure you hydrate. I suspect an awful lot of what was making me feel really bad is I just couldn't get out of bed at some points to drink. And so I wasn't drinking enough, and I suspect most people don't. So you must hydrate, and you must find a way of keeping your liquids up. You can live without food for ages, but you have to hydrate. And then if you do get it, when you come out of it, and you will come out of it, then please recognize that it's going to take a long time. It's taken me 2 weeks to recover from it. So don't get it. Plan for it in case you do. Hydrate when you've got it, and be nice to yourself afterwards, because it's 2 weeks at least to build up those energies to get back to your work. At least that's my experience. Love to know what you think of it. So as usual, if you've got any comments, please, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. This one's probably going to go out on LinkedIn because it seems like that's probably appropriate. Or you could just Google corporate drag queen, because I am the only one. Bye.